What I love about Carbondale is the people. I think the people that are, born and raised here, grew up here, I just think they're just quality people. I think we have that small town feel. People here are generally very good people. I saw that 20 years ago. I was having twin babies, and we lost one of our sons, my wife and I at the time. And this community poured out to me. We didn't want for anything. Everything we needed to get through that, this community gave us. It was remarkable what this community did. And I also saw that as a young boy growing up. My mother was a single mom at one time trying to raise 4 kids, and she wasn't the healthiest. And I can remember going into Roman Meyer's store and Mr. Hoyle or J.S. Robs with Johnny Richards, and they would let my mother buy us clothes on a handshake. They would say, we know you're good for it, you'll be back to pay. And so I knew that since being a little kid that I saw that. I try to pay it back. I'm a police officer here for 23 years now, which to me is maybe 10 of the greatest jobs in the country right there, being a police officer for the city of Carbondale. It's nice that I do get to give back to my community in that way, and I'm also been lucky that I've been hired as the head football coach over at our high school, and that means the world to me. I do try to preach to my players that, you're on a football team, but it's got to be a community football team. We go out and ask the community to support us with fundraising and that, so why shouldn't we be out in the community? And they have been. My players have been very good about it. We do help with the YMCA. We've helped with the library here. We've helped with some other groups, cleaning up the parks. And I think that's important, and that's important to me that our team takes interest in that and does that. This is only my 2nd year as their head coach, but earlier 2 weeks ago at one of our games, we had one of our former players come back, and he said how important that was when he got down to Lycoming College. His name's Luke Kovaleski, and he said to me, he realized what it means now that he's moving on. The number one value I'm trying to teach him is work ethic. That's very important to me. That was instilled in me, and I think I have a pretty strong one. I think my sons are pretty good at it. And trying to instill in them that it's important to help people out, to volunteer. You don't have to be paid for everything you do. You can see it in this town. When people need you, this town pours out for them, and that's important. You'll see some benefits in town that are really successful. When it's a person here in town that needs help, the community pours out, and it makes me proud to be here. Well, my favorite place is a Friday night at the high school, for a football game. I mean, that's been my favorite place for a long time. I've been part of that program since I'm probably 7 years old, so it meant a lot to me growing up, and it means a lot to me today. I do like to get out to a couple of local restaurants, like the Pete's Place at the Manor or Frank's Place up in Simpson. They're probably my 2 favorite. Now they just opened one here in Childs right outside Carbondale, Rosiello's, and that'll be a nice place. And I like to get up to the Little League. I still like, I was a player there for a lot of years, so I do like to get up there. My boys played there. It's important to me. The Little League's very important to me. So I do like to get out, but mainly the sporting events. I played there throughout high school and in junior football. We always got to play at the high school field, and then I was an assistant coach there for 15 years under John Lesavich, and then 2 years ago, as I said, I got lucky and they named me the head football coach. And I watched 3 of my 4 boys grow up on that football field, so it's important to me. Some of my lifelong best friends were my football teammates, and baseball. I played baseball there too, but football to me, it gave me the discipline that I needed. Helped me get to where I am today. Teamwork and discipline, and just doing things right. God bless him. The old coach here, Jim Miller, back in the 80s. Jim Miller kind of took me under his wing as a football official, and I can remember being in 7th grade, and I made a big mistake by throwing a milk carton, and Coach Miller had no problem straightening me out, and I look back at that today and think, geez, that probably straightened my whole life out. I may have been one of those kids that were teetering, and Coach made sure it didn't happen. Oh, we called it wall-to-wall counseling. Coach had no problem putting his hands on you and, shaking you a little bit and saying, all right, now we're going to straighten up here, And he had a way with dealing with it, and thank God he did. There's a lot of value in Carbondale. There's a lot of great things here. There's a lot of great people here. I think, it's tough for the new generation because there's not much land here to build a new home, but there's some really beautiful older homes here that they can invest in and come back here and live here. This is I wouldn't want to raise my kids anywhere else. It means a lot to me. So hopefully the kids see the small town value, the friendships, the acquaintances that you make here, and see the good in the people that are really good here. There's obviously room for improvement. Maybe we can get some more businesses in the town, and hopefully that would build up the town. I said, these kids here have it much better than we did. This is the greatest YMCA probably in the country here for them. It'd be very important for them to all become members of that. Maybe get involved in some community activities and help them bring businesses here. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Carbondale get back to the 70s. When I remember it, every storefront being open. I just think, I just think that people need to know Carbondale's, it really is a good place. I'm very proud that I raised my kids here, and I hope they raise their kids here. I've been lucky. I got onto the police force here at a young age. Someday I'll get to retire from there, and I get to coach football here every day. And Carbondale's, it's a good place. It really is.